So I guess a bad way to start a weekly YouTube series is by missing the second week.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
The curse of Dyrus continues.
Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I apologize for missing last week's episode, but I'm going to waste no time in getting into week 3. Here we go.
First up, I'm going to do a summary of weeks 1 and weeks 2. I'm not going to summarize every game. Hopefully you guys watch them. If you want me to, I can go into a little bit more detail a little bit later. I'm eventually going to do a recap of all the teams so far in the split, about halfway through, and what I think of them and where they'll end up finishing. But for now, I'm just going to do week 1 and week 2, some key games. I have a couple comments about some of the games, a couple of the different players as well, so let's get into it. So the way that I predicted week 1 is pretty much how it happened. There were only 2 surprises. One was with Team Liquid, and the other one was with TSM. The first game of the week was between TSM and CLG. Now, this game surprised me in a couple different ways. The first one was the curse of Dyrus continues. First blood was given up to Hanser in the top lane for a 4-man gank. This is just every TSM's fan worst nightmare going, here we go again. The second surprise was how TSM came together as a team. They didn't. They have really good individual skill, but they haven't clicked as a team yet, and that was really apparent in this game. They got absolutely dominated by CLG in basically every aspect. I'm sure that as the team gets to play more, just like every other team, they're going to be able to click, but I'm really expecting a lot from TSM. I was impressed by a couple different things in week 2, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. And on the topic of me being right, wait, have we talked about that yet? Oh well, on the topic of me being right, Immortals played their way to an 18-minute perfect game. That means that there were no deaths, no towers were gone, and they were in control the whole game. It was a slaughterhouse, exactly what I called. The game ended in 18 minutes and 20 seconds, which set a new record in the LCS for quickest game. Team Impulse couldn't even surrender. Now, that's pretty bad. The other thing to note from week 1 was GBM. He is in NA and he's loving it. In his very first game in the LCS, he stole 2 Barons away from Dignitas, outsmiting Kiri, just with one simple Q. There was no flashes, there was no anything. He walked up to the Baron pit, threw his Victor Q, and stole a Baron. He did that twice in the game, and that's what put Energy so far ahead of Dignitas that gave them the game. The second surprise for me in week 1 was Team Liquid. It's apparent that they haven't balanced out their 10-man roster. They really need to listen to Charmin. Less is more in the NALCS. You have a 5 to 7-man roster who all know how to work together, and that's a key to victory. Maybe they're onto something with the 10-man roster, but as of right now, they are underperforming for being the Summer Split champions last year, with basically the same roster. I expected them to lose to TSM, but with being disappointed in TSM coming into this game, I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen. But in their game against Renegades, I really expected them to win. Renegades is new. They just got outperformed all around. It was an hour-long game, but that was simply because Team Liquid had a good draft, and they had a Victor and a Lucian to wave clear all the time. Renegades had 4 Barons in that game. It was an hour-long game that shows a weakness to Renegades not being able to close out a game, which worries me going into the future. But Team Liquid has a problem, and they need to sort it out if they want to switch this around. I don't know who is doing the shot calling on TSM or who called that play, but I've had better play calls in my Bronze 5 promotions. TSM was ahead by 3k gold at 30 minutes. Now, they have a really good team. They should be able to close it out. Whoever made that horrible Bronze Division Baron call messed up real bad, because that call cost them the game. They're the only team who has put up a fight against Immortals. I think Immortals can be beaten, but the only team who I can see doing it is TSM, because Energy right now is not sitting good with me. And the reason they're not sitting well with me is because of this guy. Yeah, him. That guy is an idiot. Whether you know it or not, Immortals support Adrian had not died in the first 3 games that they have played. He was 1-0-27 going into their game against Energy. And then Impact just had to say this.
Really? Really, that's what you're going to say? You're going to say that you're going to taunt him? You're going to laugh on his dead body?
Man, this guy has supported the hell out of Immortals and has not died in 3 NALCS games. How awesome is that? Attitudes like that is what gets you a big ol' X in the negative category. Adrian ended up getting the last laugh. Immortals absolutely wiped the floor with Energy fairly easily. Adrian died once. The whole team altogether rarely died. They were up 13,000 gold by the time the game ended at 33 minutes. This was a slaughterhouse by Immortals. I'm a big fan of this team now. Not because I'm a bandwagoner. I just like to see good teams in NA because we don't have any. And we haven't had any for a while. So in week 3, both Immortals and CLG face Renegades and Echo Fox, which in my mind would put Immortals at going 2-0 and CLG going at 2-0 this week. And, and vice versa. Echo going 0-2 and Renegades going 0-2. Both of those teams aren't bad. They're definitely going to finish middle of the pack between 5 and 7, I would say. But, Immortals is good, and CLG has proven themselves to be a good team. They had an unfortunate loss in week 2. They're going to bounce right back from it. They're going to combine as a team. They're going to outplay. They're going to outperform. They're going 2-0 along with Immortals. Echo Fox and Renegades are going to go 0-2 this week. TSM also has a shot at going 2-0 this week. Their first game is against Cloud9, who has been underperforming so far this split. Their second game, however, is what I feel will be the game to watch this week. They're going up against Energy. Now, a lot of people have Immortals at the top, and then TSM and Energy at spots 2 and 3. This will really be a chance for those teams to show what they're actually made of. Energy has had a really good, easygoing schedule so far, other than their game against Immortals, of course. But TSM has faced some worthy opponents. They faced CLG, they faced Immortals, which were their 2 losses, but they almost had the game against Immortals. I'm going to have to give this one to TSM, but I'm definitely going to make sure that I catch this game.
Now, there's only a couple teams left that I haven't talked about yet. The first one is going to be Team Impulse. They're actually kicking off Week 3 against a game against Dignitas. I don't expect they're going to win that. I think they'll put up a good fight. This will definitely be a game for Team Impulse to show who they are. A lot of people have them sitting in auto-relegation right now at the very bottom of the bracket, but we'll see how that goes. And then, unfortunately, their next game is against Team Liquid. I guess it'll be a good game because both teams are sitting at 2-2 right now, which is a lot for both of them. But again, I don't see Team Impulse doing a lot. They haven't shown me anything to go off of, so I'm going to have to give the victory over to Team Liquid for this one. And the first game is going to go over to Team Dignitas, which means that Team Impulse is going to go 0-2 this week. Now, there's only 2 more games remaining that I haven't talked about yet. It's going to be Energy versus Team Liquid. I think Energy is going to win that one. They're an overall better team. And again, I'm not understanding what Team Liquid's really doing this split. So again, I'm going to give that one over to Energy. And then the second one is going to be between Team Dignitas and Cloud9. This one's a little bit of a toss-up. I think I'm actually going to give the victory over to Team Dignitas. Again, Cloud9 has been underperforming this split. I don't really know why. They have a really good team comp. I'm going to have to really watch this game and understand where Cloud9's at. I've seen a lot of good things from Team Dignitas. Shifter's having a really good year so far. And just overall, their teamwork has carried them to a couple victories already. I'm going to have to give this game over to Team Dignitas. So if all my predictions reign true, this is what the standings are going to look like. I don't think there's a whole lot of surprise in where all of the teams are at right now. It'll be a good week for Immortal, TSM, and CLG, which is good. It'll put them towards the top. Energy, like I said, I think is going to go 1-1. It'll bring them down just a little bit. Overall, I think it should be a good week. There's going to be no surprise matches. There's going to be dominating matches, and then everything else is just going to kind of be mediocre, okay? Either way, check out the games for yourself. They go live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, YouTube, and through the LOL Esports website. My name's Canadian Chaos, and I'll see you next week. Don't agree with me? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you really like it, share it. And in the meantime, good luck on the Rift.
Moves like that and I don't want to say move like that.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And yes, Peter Griffin shirt.